Coach Smith, 11-1 on the year. Cats win the Northwest Conference, perfect regular season, 9-0. 2 playoff wins, reach the quarterfinals. What a remarkable season for Linfield.
Thank you, Ryan. It really was a very special year. We've had, really many special teams, I think, over the years here, and this one will certainly go down as one of my favorite to coach, and certainly one of the more memorable ones that our staff will have had.
Yeah, absolutely. I just both on all 3 phases of the team. Defense was electric all season long. The offense, one of the most productive, high-scoring offenses in the country, but a relatively young, talented group where you had a lot of contributions from younger players. I mean, used to be a thing that people around the Northwest Conference would say that, it's going to take forever if you go to Linfield to play. That's not the case. If you're talented, you're going to see the field.
Absolutely, especially without redshirting. You got to find a way to get your most talented guys on the field, and everything's a little bit. That the COVID year obviously is still playing havoc on all teams' rosters in terms of the depth. So we have a bunch of guys that are sophomores or freshmen, but really they're maybe a year older because they had that year of training, and I think the success we saw this year was really, in great part due to the extra year of training that we had, the 22 weeks of practice, and I thought that really paid off fundamentally for us as our guys blocked and tackled quite well this year.
Yeah, I think the thing that really stood out was the preparation that as a team, as a staff that you put into. I mean, this coaching staff is pretty amazing, from Coach Vaughn, heading up the defensive side, Coach Wickery, Coach Elliott, Coach Bomey. I mean, I could go all on, Coach Rombach, etc. I think you'd be like pound for pound. It'd be pretty hard to find a better coaching staff in Division III.
Oh, I agree. There's no question about that. Every one of our position coaches, I believe, is a master at what they're doing. Each one of them has over 10 years of experience or more, at their positions, and that says a lot. We've been coaching at a high level together, and I think our guys are really able to blend the schematics with fundamentals, and when you do that, I think execution, is at a high level.
Coach, just a side note, when I would go into the locker room, I'm an older guy now, I've been around the program for a while, but when I see the guys interact together, I just tell myself, man, if I was 18 again, these would be my guys. I would have so much fun. They do. These guys have so much fun, but it seems like the type of player and person that you bring into this program each year is such a, hardworking, team first. They're smart guys, and they also have a lot of fun. It just seems like that's who you're finding year after year, and it's super impressive.
Well, I'm really glad that's your impression, because that is, really exactly what we're searching for. We want team first guys that love football and are willing to work and grind and be the best version of themselves. And so I think if you do that, it creates a culture that brings that out in guys, and sometimes some of the guys that are shy and reserved, they open up and become less so, when they're around guys that they can trust and that they know have their best interests at heart. So I think this is a true team-focused, culture, and I'm really proud of it. It's fun to be a part of.
It is a pretty amazing culture, and I'm going to brag on you guys. You guys are the elite small college program on the West Coast. One of the very, very best across the whole country. I think it's an exciting time for the program. I think the stage is set for this program to make continual deep runs in the playoff and chase down a national title. It's a pretty exciting time to be a Wildcat.
I would agree. Our goal each year is to develop, to our utmost, to put ourselves in a position to stand with the best in the country and be measured. And, I felt this team did that this year. There's no question that they were able to play with the best in the country. And I think, as you mentioned, there's enough talent in the program and enough, values of focusing on development that's going to develop our guys to the point where we should be able to do that year in, year out. And quite frankly, we have. We've been able to be, in the conversation at least year in, year out. Now, I think there's conversation of who's in the top 25, and then there's conversation who's in that top 10, and I think that top 10 is a little bit different level, and we certainly have elevated again to be in that group, and I'm very proud of what the guys have done.
You absolutely have. This program has shown the ability to go and win on the road in the playoffs, which is, I don't think people truly understand how hard it is to do that. And under your time as head coach at Linfield, I think now over 5 different road playoff wins, which is pretty dang amazing. Not a lot of coaches can say that. I think it just goes back to the work that's unseen is the reason why on Saturdays the program looks, the way it does. Executing is just the unseen work is kind of like an iceberg, right? You only see the tip, but below it's huge. And, I think maybe you could just speak on what your philosophy is as a program in terms of off-season work and why that's so important.
I think the weight room is probably where everything starts. And if you don't have enough horsepower, you just literally can't play with elite talent. So I think, trying to recruit the right young men to come into the program that love football. And if you love football, then you're willing to work hard for it. You're not being forced to do it. We don't have to force guys to do anything. We just tell them this is where we want to go, this is what it's going to take to get there, now go do it. And so if you recruit intrinsically motivated young men that love football, then you just need to give them the tools and the knowledge, I guess, to go do what they want to do so they can achieve what they all want to achieve. And so it starts in the weight room, and you have to build bigger, stronger, more injury-resistant bodies. And so I think the emphasis on injury prevention is real here. I mean, we had a really fine season this year in great part because of our emphasis on staying healthy. And you just really can't get past that. So I think the physical grinding is critical in a program such as this. And then, of course, the more time you do that together, the tighter you get. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
The longer you work together and the more time you spend together, the tighter you get and the better you play with one another. So I think it's all tied together.
To look back, I remember at the very beginning when we had our first conversation, when we talked about potential. That potential was realized starting the year with the Division II team coming into the Cat Dome, and you guys just opening it up and just really, really handled Simon Fraser. That was a pretty fun way to start the year.
It was, and Simon Fraser was Division II team. They had a lot of guys on that squad that we recruited in terms of some very fine players, and boy, it wasn't even close. Our guys jumped on them, and you could see the speed and the execution real quick on defense, and certainly the aerial attack that we had on offense that really set the stage, I think, for we're going to be a good team this year. And if we keep developing, we're going to be able to play with anybody.
Yeah, I think that game, but it was the next week when you guys traveled down to Southern California. A lot of respect for Redlands, the way they run their program. It's a very, very good program. But you guys just had your way with the Bulldogs down at Ted Runner Stadium. That's when I think people started kind of going, oh, wow, this Linfield team could be different this year.
I'd agree. I thought that was a good game for us in terms of just getting that taste out of our mouth from a couple years ago. And I think the way in which we opened that game up was quite impressive. We really dominated up front on both sides of the ball and put it away pretty fast.
That was a really eye-opening game, I think, for the rest of the country after Redlands. I think people took a look at Linfield and said this could be a really special year for the Cats. And then you guys rolled into Northwest Conference play, and there wasn't even a speed bump in Northwest Conference play. You guys won games by over an average of 40 points a game, starting off with easily handling Puget Sound, and then from there just rolling. You guys had it seemed like everybody's like, oh, okay, Pacific may be, a good challenge. Oh, Whitworth is going to be the challenge. Oh, Fox may be a challenge. But it just seemed like you guys ran through them like a hot knife through butter all season long.
We kept thinking, oh, this is the team that's going to give us the biggest challenge. And then it wasn't. And then, it seemed like it was the next team. And I think, our guys really did a wonderful job this year of treating every opponent with respect in terms of giving every opponent our best. I didn't feel like we had really any let-ups, and I think the ultimate score showed that in terms of our play. But it was very gratifying to put a few teams that do a lot of talking away pretty early. That was fun.
Yeah, I would say so. I thought like you said, there was no letdown. I think you guys, like you said, respected everyone that came in and gave them your best effort, and on the scoreboard that reflected. And then from there, rematch with Redlands, hosting here in the Cat Dome the first round of the playoff game. It's super hard to beat a quality team twice. Not only did you guys do that, by the end of the game, it was a runaway.
It is hard to beat a good team twice, and I think you see that around the league, in the NFL and other places. It is very difficult, but I was very, very proud of our defense. I thought they played amazing that game, and our offense eventually started hitting and like you said, put it away dramatically.
Yeah, after that, let's talk about it. It was magical going out to Minnesota. The program has history with St. John's in the 60s, lost to the NAIA championship game, and then two tremendously talented Linfield teams, 02 and 03, lost to St. John's in the playoffs in consecutive years. 03, the Johnnies won the national title after that, so it was especially heartbreaking. But 19 years later or so, going back out there, it's a wonderful venue, a wonderful program, but just got it done. Defeated the Johnnies 31-28.
It is, and we had not really gone to that part of the country and fared well in the playoffs. It's been a tough place to go, not just St. John's, but Wisconsin, and certainly even Minnesota, the rest of the state. So I was very proud of our guys for going there and beating a fine quality team at their place. I called a few of our guys from the 02 and 03 teams, and after the game said, all right, we finally got them. So that was great to do. But we were pretty confident. I really felt like we were going to win that game. It was a good matchup for us.
It wasn't a surprise.
No, it wasn't. I think that was something that we expected to win, and the team we had this year I thought would match up with Whitewater quite well, and Mount Union and even North Central. So and the Crew. So we expected to beat the Johnnies, and I was glad to see us do that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the road came to the end back in Belton, Texas. I think offensively they just were on fire. I think there were so many. It wasn't scheme. It was just they just made plays on the football consistently throughout the game. You just got to tip your cap to them, congratulate them, and celebrate a great season.
Yeah, I'd agree. I told Pete after the game, Coach Fredenberg, that, man, that's the best I've seen you guys play, and they made some wonderful plays on the football, and we didn't make enough. So very proud of our offense. I thought they had one of their best games of the season, probably their best game of the season, and our special teams played well. So I was very proud of those two phases, and our defense battled. I mean, there was no give up. Our guys fought to the very end, as I would expect them to, and I couldn't be prouder of this year's team.
Yeah, but I still expect a top 5 ranking, at the end of it. And I think that it was really, like we keep saying it, but it was a great year in the Cat Dome, but great group of seniors, great leadership by them. But they have set the stage, I think, for wonderful things in the upcoming couple seasons. I think that there's a real chance to repeat the success of this past season and maybe even achieve more.
No, I would agree. And there's a great quote by Margaret Thatcher that says, the desire to win is born in most of us. The will to win is a matter of training, and the manner of winning is a matter of honor. And this team had that. The manner in which they played and the manner in which they prepared, I'm very proud of, and my heart's very full with this year's team.
Same here. I think all of the Linfield family and everyone that has stepped foot on this field feels the same way. I had multiple guys reach out to say how proud we are of this group and carry on the tradition of not only great football, but great people as well.
Absolutely.